Hello, my name is Peter and today I'm going to be doing a quick update of just a few of the banana plants that I'm growing outside. I'm not going to go through all of them today because there's too many to do in one video. So I'm just going to focus more on the ones in ground. Also not really going to show this bajie much because I already did a video recently. It's only grown a couple more leaves since that video. So I'm going to focus more on these edible varieties that I have. So there's 4 currently planted in ground, and this one here is a Manzano. Last time I showed this, it didn't look very good and it hadn't pushed any leaves. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago I noticed the bottom, it actually pushed out the side, so I removed the old pseudo stem and let the new bit that was growing out of the same out of the side of the pseudo stem to grow. So it's pushed out a few leaves since then. Hasn't been growing too fast as the weather's cooled down a bit since our heat wave the other week, but it has continued to grow since it pushed out these new leaves. I'm hoping that it may grow a decent amount this by the end of the season, and perhaps even push out a pup or two. Next to it is an in-ground Dwarf Orinoco. This plant has grown a few leaves. You can see this first one here doesn't look very good. I think it got damaged by the sun, and then it has put out this one here which isn't a very large one, and there's a new one just coming out now which is also quite small. I'm not too sure why this one hasn't been growing as well as it did last year. It grew a lot better last year in the container. Just hoping it's getting settled in the ground. But what I did notice today actually is it's started to push a little pup at the back here. So that's quite exciting. This is what I was hoping for, that putting it in the ground it might decide to produce some more plants that I can use as backups. I added this mulch layer before the heat wave to try and keep the ground nice and moist, and also to stop weeds and things growing for less competition with the plants. I'm hoping though that it will start to grow a bit more, but at least it is growing a little pup now at the back. Next is my Rajapuri. This is has grown a fair few leaves since the last video I made. Again, not growing as fast this year as I'd have hoped, but it is doing better in the ground than it was in a pot, so that's good at least. I'm really hoping this produces some pups as well, as it's very rare and hard to get hold of this plant, so as it's my only one, I would like another plant as a backup. So yeah, other than that, it seems to be doing okay. I don't know if that's some sort of sunburn or something on the leaf there, but hopefully it will be look a little bit healthier in another few weeks. Over here is a tall Orinoco that I planted. In the last video it was in a container, and I planted it a few weeks later after that video. Since then it didn't really do too much at first, but it has pushed out this leaf here which looks like it's going to be quite a large leaf. So it seems to be liking this position. It's in a mostly south facing position, so it should get a lot of light here. So yeah, this is starting to look a lot better now it's in the ground. So on the patio I have this other Dwarf Orinoco, which was about the same size as the one I planted in ground. And as you can see, I did repot it just a few weeks ago. It was only slightly larger than the pot it was in. I didn't have any larger ones, so I just put it in the biggest one that I had. And has grown a few new leaves. I think it only had about one or two in the last video. It's now got 3, and there is a new leaf just starting to emerge in the centre. This one does seem to like it on the patio. I think with it being on the patio it gets extra heat from the house and the ground, so that might be why it does better here than the one that I've got in the ground. This is more of a southwest facing wall here. And this was the other Manzano. Doesn't look very healthy at the moment. I've been chopping the pseudostem down, and I noticed it was starting to crack a bit at the bottom, so I was thinking it might be trying to push out at the bottom, so I chopped it right down. And you can just about see there is what looks like another leaf just starting to emerge there, so I'm hoping this will now come back. But yeah, it's been a very, very slow grower, this one in the container. This one here is a Dwarf Cavendish banana. I didn't have this outside, this was growing inside before, so that's why it wasn't in the last video. But yeah, I decided to put it outside just to see how it did. These are not hardy, definitely not as hardy as some of the others that I'm growing outside, but this is the same type of banana that you get at the supermarket, the Cavendish. This one, being Dwarf Cavendish, shouldn't get more than about 5-6 feet at the most, I think, something like that. And there is another Dwarf Cavendish here. Put this out a few weeks ago with the other one. Has grown that leaf, and there's a new one just coming out now. Did have this and the other one in a sheltered place in the shade for a week or so, just to prevent all the leaves from burning off. That seems to have helped. There's only a little bit of burn on this new leaf here, but should be okay, should recover. I also have this this Grand Nain, which I also put out at the same time as the Dwarf Cavendish bananas. This again is probably one of the most commonly grown Cavendish cultivars. It's the one that Chiquita, the Chiquita brand of banana grow that you get from the supermarket. Very similar to the Dwarf Cavendish, but I think it's a slightly larger fruit. Very productive in the tropics, less so here in the UK. Just going back over to one of my Dwarf Brazilian bananas. This one has been growing quite slowly, like most of them. Has cooled off a lot here. Let's say we had a couple of weeks ago we had a heat wave, just a few days. It was extremely hot, but then after that it's cooled right down to sort of the low 20s at the most in the day. And it's been very cloudy and rainy here, which is not the best weather for tropical plants. Well, they like the rain, but they don't like the cool weather. This is my Dwarf Namwah. It has pushed out this leaf since the last video. Does look like it's starting to finally grow. It's been a very slow one for me this year. Definitely not as fast growing as Rajapuri and the Dwarf Orinoco. But yeah, it does seem to be finally starting to like its position now. And this is I believe is the tall Namwah that I have. This one has actually been growing a little bit faster than the Dwarf Namwah. It has put out another leaf, and then there's a new one just starting to come out as well. So yeah, this one does seem to be doing a little bit better. This is another Dwarf Orinoco. Yeah, this one has put out a couple of leaves as well. Some of the older ones don't look very good now. They're starting to burn up and get destroyed by the wind. This one is the Curare Enano, the plantain, a dwarf cooking plantain. It's put out, I think, maybe again probably about 1 or 2 leaves, and there's another one coming out there. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the outdoor edible bananas that I'm growing. I do have a few wild types as well that I'll probably show in a different video, but yeah, there hasn't been as much growth on some of these plants as I'd have liked, as the weather has been a lot cooler in the last few weeks or so, with the exception of that very short heat wave that we had. So yeah, I will do some more separate videos on some of the other the wild bananas that I grow, and also some of the indoor banana plants. I know I mentioned in the last video that I'd do a separate video, and I will get round to doing that hopefully in the next few days. So thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos, and I'll see you in the next one.